Okay, again, this is the game example. Again, the first thing you notice is we have a graphic and there is 8 of them. You'll notice it's in a view, image view. Then again, we have a bunch of letters all in stacks. You got your A, you got your B, you got your C, you got your D, you got your E, and they're all stacked together into one group, and then that group is copied down, and then that group is grouped into one big one. And the reason why we do that is so we can add constraints to that, right? Well, actually, the constraints are on the whole screen itself to make everything fit. That is all the constraints there. I don't think, let me think. Everything's in one big stack is the thing. Even the image is in the stack. Do you see that? So the image is in the stack, and the stack is in this stack, and then this stack has multiple stacks. Think of stack as group, right? So here's a group that has all the each letter in a group. Then they're all in a group there, and then they're with the image up here at the top, up here, image, and then that's in a giant group, and that group then has constraints. What are the constraints for that? Well, it basically the constraints are to keep it even to whatever size iPad you have, right? There's different options. The trailing is the end. You'll notice when I click on this, you'll see this is highlighted over here. So the tailing is on the right side, or kind of, think of it as beginning and ending, right? And then the leading is the beginning, right? That would be left side, right? So this is right side, left side, and then of course you got your top or bottom, and then your top. And so what these constraints do is it makes it expand to the edges, as if that makes any sense. So it'll talk about that in the reading. What else is there? Oh, I was talking about the programming. Again, we have one big view controller. This controls most of the action that happens on the screen, but then they have a game Swift that has like the brains of the game and so on. And so actually the data is shared between these back and forth. And as you can see, there's certain words like frog image view. Where would that frog image view be? In the game over here. I think so. Oh, no, not the frog image view. What am I trying to say? They actually share data back and forth is what I'm saying. List of words and guess words, guessed word. I don't know. We'll see. And then what else is there? Oh, the characters is deprecated. So they in the reading it uses this thing, and it still works with it. It's just it keeps giving you messages saying, "Hey, don't use that." I haven't found an equivalent yet. I'm sure we can probably figure it out. The other thing is it's in the iPad. So if we look at it, again, you should have words you can guess. So we can guess a word, C, D. So again, there is a list of images. The other thing to keep in mind is the images should be with the letter O at the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you make your own images, you should, and I'll show you that right now, you should name them properly because it uses the actual. Okay, what did that say? I didn't even read that, but whatever. You'll notice it says frog 0, right? Frog 1, frog 2, frog 3, frog. So if you made your own images, name them like that. It needs them because it uses the number that's at the end here to change the graphic. Does that make sense? Make sure you name it. Frog 0, frog 1. Now I'm using frog. The tree one has tree 0, tree 1, right? Okay, so just make sure that you have the number at the end right there. Okay, you ready to get started? You get the idea? Let's start. I'm going to quit Xcode for right now. Let's open the book. Again, this is in the app development book, not the intro book, the app development book. Okay, again, the project's called Apple Pie. So far in this unit, you've learned a lot about fundamentals of Swift. Now it's time to put your knowledge to work. Your project is to write a game called Apple Pie. In this simple word-guessing game, each player has a limited number of turns to guess letters and words and so on. If you want, I've had some students who have expanded this game to have players. So if I can bring those up, I will try and find them so you can see. I've had students expand this game into having players as well. You have player 1 and player 2, and then each one of them gets a score, and whoever gets the like 5 or something, I think, I don't know. I had students really expand this game to be more interesting than just this. So you might want to think about that as well. Let's continue. Again, to start, we're going to be using an iPad. I'm going to have problems because I didn't bring my iPad today to even read. Usually I put this on the iPad and I can read in back and forth, and I didn't bring it. So let's just start Xcode. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to make a new project. One thing you might want to do is take your graphics that you have and put them in a folder. I have a folder here called Jumping Frog. I got I got my graphics in there. Do you see that? So I have one folder with my graphics in there, and I'll probably put my project in there. So again, start with, where was I at? Where's Xcode? Start with a new project, file, new project. Then I'm going to say single view app. Then give it a name. I'm going to call it Jeff's Jumping Frog. Again, you can put it where you want. I just have a test here, whatever you want to call it. You can include unit test. All the defaults that are here is fine. Make sure it's Swift as the programming language. I'm going to go next. I'm going to choose my folder, which I have on my desktop, and I call it Jumping Frog. You can see my graphics are in there. Next, make sure I'm going to change down here where it says Universal. This time we're going to use iPad down there. You don't have to choose which one you need, you know what I mean? You could just leave everything else default. But again, I use the iPad here. I don't think we need to change anything else in this window. We don't have to add any capabilities or anything like that. So I think the default is fine for right now. For all of that.
Is the font we change to?
What's that?
On the top, do we change the font to iPad also?
Up here, yes. So yeah, you could do that after you get started. But yeah, change this up here to whatever iPad. I don't think it matters. I think the default was iPad 10.5. Yeah. So yeah, change it up here. And then the view down here, I think you can change to iPad as well. Oh, you can't see that. I'm sorry. I know the screen. So I think down here, isn't there a way to change the iPad down here? Device. And we want iPad 10. There we go. So down here at the very bottom, so the view is right. Down here where it says device, I'm going to choose the iPad 10.5 down here. See where it says view as iPad Pro device, and then I can zoom out. If I can make my screen bigger here, I can zoom out. There we go. So it looks like an iPad there. Next, open in Storyboard. In the main Storyboard, use view as button to change the device and orientation to iPad. We just did that. Landscape mode, they want you to change the orientation down here to landscape mode like that. Did you see that? Again, it's down here towards the bottom where you got your device. I choose iPad 10, and then I change orientation to landscape. Down towards the bottom down here. Since you've been using auto layout to build the interface, it will work with portrait mode as well. Look back at the image and finish the app using the interface builder tools we've learned so far. How might you construct this interface? There is image at the top followed by a grid of buttons and the 2 rows labeled containing text. Perhaps the simplest ways to build this interface is using a vertical stack view. Find vertical stack view in the object library and drag it into the iPad canvas. So again, this time instead of adding the stacks after you put that, you can put your vertical stack in there ahead of time. So you can type in vertical, VIRTICAL, V-E-R-T-I-C-A-L, vertical. Oh no, I spell vertical. Oh, V-E, whoosh, vertical stack view. So you can take this thing called a vertical stack view and you can drag it out onto the screen. Let's put it in the center. Okay, so again, it's this object up here at the buttons. It's called a vertical stack view. Find the vertical stack view in the object diagram, drag it onto the iPad canvas. Again, we put it in the center. You've learned earlier lessons you can determine the position, width, and height of the stack by adding constraints between the stacks and the super view. Where does the stack start? Where does it end? The image view is near the very top, and the last label goes along the bottom of the screen. The grid of buttons begins near the left edge and near the right edge. Therefore, the stack views could be constrained to cover the entire screen. Select the stack view and then add constraints tool. Add the 4 constraints. Set all 4 to the top. Pop over to 0. The red indicator will illuminate the edge and constrain when you're done. Hit 4 constraints. Basically, what they're saying is you have it in the center, right? So make sure it's in the center. You see how you got blue lines going boom, boom in multiple directions, right? Go down here to the constraints, which is the second one from the right down here, the add new constraints. And they're going to put in 0, 0, 0, 0. That will expand the stack view all the way to the edges. 0, 0, 0, 0. And then say add 4 constraints. It puts it into the screen there, and it should expand all the way to the edges. Everybody cool with that? Okay. Next, we go to, oh, there you go, you can see it. If you add the constraints in the yellow warning appear around the stack, press the Update Frames button so that the stack view frame resizes to match the constraints and rule you applied. That was a common problem in the older versions. I don't think it matters today, but when you would sometimes change things, it wouldn't automatically update. And so they're talking about this little wheel that you see right here. It doesn't, see how it's grayed out? See how it's grayed out? Because it doesn't need it. If you saw yellow, when you see yellow and you wanted to do something, this will highlight and it'll be gray, or it'll be selectable. And if you click it, it'll take that yellow and put it away to what it should be or whatever. That's what they're talking about in that window right there. It's this one right here. This one. You don't need that right now. But you did put 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, I hope, in there. And then hit there. Now that you're ready to add views and controls to the stack, search the object library for an image view and drag one into the stack view. Since it's the only item with the stack, it will take up the entire space of the stack. Change the content mode of the view image to aspect fill in the attributes inspector. This will ensure that the width and height of the image is not distorted by the proportion of the image view. One thing to keep in mind is the image will not, you don't really need to add constraints to it. You actually kind of just let it sit there and it'll scale until the pieces that you put in there. So that's why they say use aspect fill. So here we go. To put the image view in, you go back to the objects library and put in image and drag the image view out. Put it, whatever, in the center. It's fine. It'll expand to the size of the window. Once you've done that, we need to change the constraints in the attributes to content mode, and see where it says scale to fill. We're going to say aspect fit. Aspect fit. Again, it's under the attributes option right here. Attributes. So drag the image out and put it in the middle, and then do aspect fit. Okay, now we need to put the images in, because I don't have the image here, do I? Okay, so where do we put our images? In assets over here. Do you see the assets window right here? Probably the easiest way is to drag them in. I find the easiest way is to drag them in. So if you want to drag them in, you can move your window around. Remember, I told you make sure you know where they're at on your computer, because I have them in a folder all right here. And you can bring them all in at the same time. All in at the same time. So again, assets right here, assets right here, assets, and you got this big white area right here. See it? You're going to take all the frogs that you have, or whatever you have, trees. Some of you have trees. You take them all and you drag them into this window right here. Release the mouse and it puts them in. Now, I've already talked about how you might have a 1x, 2x, and 3x. Actually, it's probably, you know, you probably don't even need that stuff if you're using a vector, right? Because these are all PDFs, right? And this vector should scale to the nice window and keep a nice resolution as well, right? So I don't know. It might not be that critical if you're using vectors. So again, you put them in here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take, if you look at them, you're not going to start with 0. Which one are you going to start with? You might have all the frog. Oh, no, I think they do start with 0. You are going to start with 0. I'm sorry. They do start with 0. No apples on there. No apples on there. So I have no frogs on there. So I'm going to go back to my storyboard again. Make sure that my image view is still selected in there. Make sure your image view is still selected. And so where it says image up here in the upper right corner, you see where it says image up there? You're going to go and choose number 1. Or 0, I'm sorry, not number 1. The first one. 0 is the first one, right? 0 is the first one. So get to that point. I will come in. Okay, so we put our image in. Next, the button grid is a bit more complex, like a checkerboard. The buttons are arranged in a set of rows and columns. You can imagine each row as its own vertical stack and each column as a horizontal stack view within the vertical stack. It's 5 horizontal stacks with views within 1 vertical stack view. Use the object library to add the vertical stack view below the image view. You can reorder the items within the stack by dragging them around in the document outline. Give the newly added stack view a height of 220. Okay, so one thing you can keep in mind is that you can drag directly from the object library to the kind of layer area. Let me show you what I mean. Look over here. You'll notice I have my frog 0. Do you see it over here, right? What you can do, and this is the easiest way to do this, is you go over here to the library. You go back to your vertical stack. VER. Keep putting I in there. You go back to your vertical stack, and you don't drag this vertical stack onto the artwork here. You drag it from here over here. Look at it. I'm putting it under the frog 0. Do you see where I'm putting it? Over here, in this layer area. Then we're going to go to the constraints. After you put it over there, I can't remember the size. After you put it in there, what did it say? You can drag it in, again, right here under your image. And then give the newly added stack view a height of 220. So go over here again and a height. So we're going to go over here to height, right here, height. Or do we want constraint? No, we want height. Height of 220, right there. 220 and add constraint. Notice how it takes the image that you have in there and shrinks it down. Do you see how it shrunk your image down? Next, you want to, there is a way, and we haven't done this yet, but how do I space my objects inside this? And what you want to do is so let's say we have a box here, right? So you have a box, and you're going to put items in the box. How are they positioned in the box is the next option. You want to evenly proportion them so that they're even. You think of Photoshop, right? Inside Photoshop and Illustrator, you have the distribute evenly, right? Those of you who know Photoshop and Illustrator, you got your align, distribute. This is the same concept. You're going to be putting things inside here, and you want them evenly spaced in there. To do that, you go here to the distribution. And what did they say in the book? Which one? What does it say? Evenly spaced? Equally spaced? Fill equally. What does it say? Jeez. You guys need to help me read here. Fill equally. Fill equally. Fill. So again, it's under here, distribution. Fill equally. Right there. Everybody got that? Okay, fill equally. Next, we're going to go fill equally. There we go. I'm going to change the distribution equally. Now add a horizontal stack view within the vertical stack. Each of the buttons or columns are equal in size. To select the horizontal view, open the Attributes Inspector and change the distribution property to fill equally. So again, the same thing, fill equally. Here we go. So you're going to go over here to the, where is the object again? Here, this one. And we're going to type in horizontal stack view. Again, don't drag onto the screen. You drag over here. It's going to be inside this stack view here. Inside here. So you're going to drag. Hold on, I don't know what happened.
Sorry, Jeff, what constraints did you give the first stack view there?
Oh, for this first one, the vertical stack view, the constraints are going to be here, this one right here, and you're going to put height of 220.
Okay.
Check that box and say add that. Okay, and then fill equally here. Next, you're going to go here to the horizontal one, and you're going to drag it underneath there. See how I drag it under the stack view there? Do you see that? Once I drag it underneath there, I'm going to say where it says distribute, we're going to say fill equally as well. Fill equally here. So get to that point. Okay, again, make sure you know how to drag over here. That's the important part, because this is where is easier than trying to drag down here, is what I'm trying to say. To get it in the order that you need it to be in, right? Because this stack is underneath this stack, which is underneath this stack, right? They kind of go in an order. Okay, so you got the fill equally. Let's move on. In the interface, there are 5 buttons per row, except for the last row, which has 6. Use the object library to add a button to the horizontal stack view. Now select the button and copy it to your clipboard. Now paste a new copy of the button into the stack view, Command V, and repeat this step until the stack view contains 5 buttons. Use the Attribute Inspector to update the text of each button to a single capital letter. Okay, so here we go. Again, you can do it over here. You don't do it on the screen, you do it over here. Look at how the things are spaced here, right? You got your A, you got your B, you got your C, you got your D, you got your E. Again, over here. So I'm going to go to button, B-U-T-T-O-N, button. You drag it from here over to here. Look how I'm putting it under the stack view. See that? So see how it's blue under there? Okay, and then you can actually copy and paste it in this window by hitting Command C and then Command V, Command V, Command V, Command V.
Does it have to be on the same level as the stack, or does it have to be in the stack?
It has to be in the stack view. I made a mistake. You're right. Hold on. You're right. I made a mistake. Hold on.
Yeah,
Now they're going down. Hold on. Let me try again. What was I doing, button? Let me try again. There we go. I was doing it wrong. You're right. Command C, Command V, Command V, Command V. It should be going across. They should be going across. One more. Then you can change the name, the letter here. We could put A in here. A. B. Oh, no, that doesn't work? Oh, you got to do it over here. I'm sorry. Where it says button over here. Do you see where it says button over here? In the attributes, select it here. Then put A over here. I'm sorry. A right there. And then B over here. And then C over here. And then D. And then E over here, button. So again, under attributes for the button, is E the last one? Right? Is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Again, change the letter over here is easier than trying to change it down here. Again, attributes for each button down there. Then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to duplicate this. Duplicate it, right? How do I duplicate it? Well, you can select the whole stack view right there. And you think you can copy and paste? Who thinks you can copy and paste? I think I can copy and paste. Command C, Command V, puts it in there. Then what letters have we got after E? What is this one? This is going to be E, F. Here we go. And this is G. Oh, didn't I do that right? It should be F. Why did it not change?
I think because you gave it a title.
Go to the stack.
No, that should be.
Let's see.
Oh, maybe because I changed it here?
You could make 10.
It should change. If I change it here, it should change here.
And that's it. And fill will be equal.
It says F. I can see it there.
And again for this one.
And this should be, what's after F?
We'll do that one.
G. That didn't change.
Go to the stack. Select the stack.
Same level.
And spacing will be 10.
Command C command. No.
What would I say? This is F.
Okay, next one more stack.
It should be
One more
G.
horizontal stack.
Instead of changing the word, just undo the name and it'll fill it out automatically.
Command C.
What do I do?
Oh, when you go to change the name, just click the delete button.
Delete here?
No, in the stack view to make it change.
See, it's there.
Where it's, you know how it says B right now, even though the button says G?
Yeah.
Yeah, go to change the name there and just click on delete and it'll remove the B. And then just click elsewhere.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So what's after G? H?
Yeah, bring that to you.
Right, that one did it automatically.
That one did.
So
I.
1, 2, 3. And again one more stack will be there.
And then this one is what? J. Okay. And then again, you can duplicate it over here.
Command D.
Copy C, copy V.
You have to bring it here.
And then what do we have? What's after? What did I get? J,
All the alphabets.
H, H, H. What's after H? I? H, I?
Why are you doing H again?
Oh, why am I doing? I don't know. What do I got? Eight? No.
So,
J. Oh, this is K.
that should be
K? What's after G? J. What's after J? K?
K, L, M.
Oh, this is L. Okay. K, L,
Yeah, it is.
L, M,
M,
N,
N.
N. I'm still back in third grade, second grade. N. And then they didn't teach me. O.
So that we can start.
Okay. And then duplicate that again. Copy, paste. What do we have? What did I leave up?
P.
O. What's after O?
P.
P. P. P. Q.
Can I check? Let's remove this.
R. R. S.
Which stack is that? Select.
T. T.
Yeah, let's remove it from.
And then duplicate it again.
What is this?
And then we got U.
Yeah, delete it. Okay,
V.
let's select this one.
W.
Command C command.
X. Y. And then there's no Z, huh? We got to duplicate one of these right here. Copy and paste the last one. Copy and paste the last one and put a Z in there.
Change the size.
So then it should put it there.
Yeah, put one more because.
So get to that point.
I had a good left hand. When they did it.
So let's look at the next step. So you've gone through and you put all the horizontal rules in, and it should look like this, right? You guys all have it looking
Yes.
like this? Below the grid of buttons, add 2 labels to the object library. Use the attributes inspector to align the text to the center, then set the font size of the first label to 30 and the second to 20. Add a height constraint of 60 to the first label and a height constraint to the second to 44. Where do I drag? Well, it's easier to drag over here. I'm going to move my window a little bit so you can see. Again, I'm going to go over here to the object library and I'm going to put a label. Not a button, a label. And I'm not going to drag onto the screen. Don't do that. Okay, don't drag onto the screen. You want to drag from here. It's going to go under the stacks. Under the stacks, under this stack. Hold on, let me see. Oh, sorry. There we go. Close that. I think the label doesn't go inside that. Let me look at my original. Where's the original? Below the grid of buttons. So yeah, again, it's below this. So it's at this level. So again, label, drag not inside, but here. See that?
Label.
There.
But I don't think it's
Right there's one label.
Underneath, this.
In that label, you're going to change the font size to 30. 30. No? I guess you have to hit the arrow.
Yeah. So we have to set the constraint.
30.
the very first step.
Then,
Leave it. Don't do it.
See, that's what I mean. You can do that.
That's the first time.
oh, that's in the center. We want to blow. Oh, it does need to be at this level. It needs to be at this level.
Let me tell you.
There we go.
Oh,
Then a line in this. It does need to be at this level. I think it's this level.
It says
Then align it to the center by going to the, so 30 here is the size.
font
And then to put it in the center, we go to the constraints. And we say horizontal center. Isn't that right? Let me see. Use the attributes inspector to change the alignment to center. Then set the font size to 30 and the second to 20. Oh, we didn't add two of them yet. Why is it giving me red though? Why is it giving me red? Let me look at my sample. Where's my sample?
Now we have to put one more label, I guess. Let me see.
no.
It is inside there.
Okay, there is one more. And it's
Where's mine at?
Its font size is 20.
No, it's on the second.
And then the height constraint of 60. Height constraint of 60.
Yeah, it
Do
doesn't.
you have this book or not? I'll tell you where it is. Add a height constraint of 60 to the first label.
You know why it's giving me red.
This one, second. Not this one.
But that is the right spot.
It's a very
Height
small
60.
sweet spot.
60.
You see the
Yeah, let's delete that.
Make it 60.
We want to give it, not that, we want to give a constraint of, where's that?
Add, oh, did you write one constraint?
No?
I think you did not write one constraint. Open it. Height, check mark 60. Add one constraint. That's it. And the another one is 44. The second label is 44. Height.
Oh, it says height of 60. That's what I'm doing wrong.
Height,
I need to do a height of 60. Height.
add one constraint.
Height. Height of
Okay,
60.
now I think we have to horizontally center.
But doesn't it need to be in the center too?
Just click them.
So
No,
that you can
no,
align it
like
with
this.
the
Leave it.
alignment, right?
Select it and
Yeah,
this one.
it just says give it a height of 60.
Horizontal. Just check mark. Add.
I don't know why. It just has a constraint here. I guess that's fine. I guess it's fine.
the text is going to be center aligned.
Oh, the center line. This one right here?
Yeah, but not the actual label.
But I still have red here.
Yeah, this
Yeah, so. Oh, the red is.
center. Right.
Still have red.
I think should your label be below that?
Okay, leave it for now.
Actually, it's talking about the box. Yeah, now it's done.
No, but it shouldn't be in that stack. Oh, there we go. So it needs to be
Below that.
above this constraint right here. It needs to be above this constraint. And then, so this is what, the score label? Correct word. This is correct word. C-O-R-R-E-C. Correct word. And then let's add another label. Another label.
That's in the first thing.
And then that one is what, the height? What is the height of that one? It needs to be 20 pixel or 20 for the font size. And then 44 for the constraint. This one should be 44. Why is it giving me that again? Why am I getting this? Is that not right? This is missing its constraint. For some reason this doesn't have the 60 in there now. What is it? Didn't it say height of 60? Why am I getting red over here?
the second stack. So, yeah, just delete it. Delete the whole thing.
Okay. So again, make sure they're outside this stack view. That was my mistake. Outside this. This one is 60 height. That's it. That's it. I don't know. Make sure it's outside and it's just. And this one is 44. And then, oh, center align. Center align right here.
Look, they're not lined up.
Center align
They're not lined up.
20,
No, they're not.
30.
They should open, the icons should open.
Okay, so that should be the way it is.
So you need to put these rows in a vertical stack.
So make sure everything looks right.
Go to object tab,
Yeah, that's how it should be,
say
but I need
vertical
to.
stack. Vertical stack.
The next part is a little bit, like I said, tedious. Because you need to add outlets for all the pieces. The labels all need outlets, right? The image needs an outlet because you're changing the image, right? All the buttons need outlets. And then the labels all need outlets. They all need to do something. Again, the outlet is doing something. Of course, the button's going to be an action. But the label's going to be an outlet. And then the image is an outlet. So if it's changing, it's an outlet usually. If it's something you're tapping or clicking on, it's going to be an action, right? So think about it that way. So you need to bring up the programming. Do you remember how to bring up the programming? Is the Olympics right here. Olympics. Okay. And so you should have your view did controller over here, right? So again, you might move things around a little bit to give yourself a little bit more space. I don't have a lot of space because of the projector, but you get the idea. So move this one down. So again, to create outlets and actions during the gameplay, the text of the labels will change whenever a letter is guessed correctly, or whenever a new round begins. The image will need to change whenever an incorrect letter is guessed, and the letter button needs to be disabled whenever they are pressed and re-enabled each round. In order to update these views, you need to create outlets so that you can reference the views in the code. Open the Assistant Editor so that the View Controller class definition appears in the right of the storyboard. We already did that. That's what I said, the Olympics. Next, select the image view on the left and control drag it to within the area within the class definition. Release the mouse button and a pop-up appears. Name it Tree Image View. Then press the Connect button. The code for the outlet will be created. Again, we drag it up here, not where it says override function. It's above where the view controller is. See, let's look at our sample here. Up here. See it up here? Up here. Under where it says UI view controller is where you do that. So grab the image view. It's right here. Hold down the control key on the keyboard and click and drag up here. Click and drag up there. You're going to release it. Make sure it's an outlet, and they told you to call it what? Tree image view. You can call it whatever you want as long as you remember what it's called. I'm calling mine Tree Image View so that it matches the handout. You can call it whatever you want. Make sure it's a UI image. Then hit the connect button. So you have that one. Next you want to do, oh, there it is. You can see what it says. Repeat the process for the two labels, the top label, correct word label, and the bottom score label. So again, the labels, you can actually drag from over here as well. So if you're having trouble selecting things there, you can actually drag from in this pop-up window over to here as well. I'm going to put it underneath there. So you can drag from here, holding down the control key and click down here. Who the hell is calling me during class? Really? Selling me freaking solar panels. Okay, so again, this one's going to be the correct word label. CORRECT, word, 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 and then label, LABEL. Correct word label. Select that one, and then the next one is this one right here. Again, hold the control key down and click drag over here. Drag over here. And this one's going to be called what? Score label, right? Score, SCORE, capital LABEL. Score label. And then say connect. So again, we have all these connected. And then the last one, whoosh, is this one. It would be very tedious to create a separate outlet for each button. Instead, you can create one outlet that holds the collection of buttons. Begin by selecting the first button with the letter A as the title. Control drag to the class definition to create an outlet, then release the mouse. In the pop-up window that appears, change the connection type from outlet to outlet collection because you're using more than one, right? Hence the word collection, right? Then set the name of the outlet collection to be letter buttons with a capital B, as you can see. Then press the connect button. In the outlet will appear, then reference a collection of buttons. Now click and drag from the circle next to the outlet collection to other buttons, and blue rectangle will appear. Now this is not easy because you can't do it over here. You can't do it over here. The first one you can do over here, but the other ones you can't. So watch how I do it because it's tricky. Watch how I do it and then you try. Watch how I do it and then try. So again, make sure it's called letter buttons. We're going to take the first one. You can do the first one over here. I can grab the first one over here. A right here, right there. Again, it's going to go below this one. I'm going to make some space down here under the label. I'm going to control click this one over to here and release my mouse. And it's going to be outlet collection. See how it says collection? So make sure this says outlet collection there. And then you're going to call it letter, L-E-T-T-E-R, buttons, B-U-T-T-O-N-S, letter buttons. And then hit connect. Okay, but now you need to connect to each one. And I don't think you can do it to here. I think you have to actually do it on the screen. I'm going to try it. But I don't think you can do it to, you know, what, how do you do it? You got to do it. Somehow you need, so right now this is connected. I don't think you can do it. Let's try it. From there, no, that's going to want to make a new outlet. No, we don't want to do that. Let's see, how do they do it? You got to drag from here to there. See how it does it there? You got to, let me zoom in here. I got to zoom in. I don't have enough space. Hold on. So I don't have enough space. I don't even have enough space to bring that zoom option in. Here we go. What you're doing is you're dragging from here to here. So let me deselect here. You're dragging from here to there. So hold on the control key and drag. No, why is my thing not working here? Or maybe it's from here to there. No.
No, a little more inside.
Where?
You will see the blue from B to the outlet collection. Yeah, but go inside. Yeah, that now it will go.
Oh. Okay, drag from here to inside so it turns blue first. Thank you. Okay, you got to do that for each and every one. I don't know. Can we do it from here?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can do it from there. Maybe do it from over here. It might be easier.
You can create that.
See how I'm doing it from there? Notice how it turns blue here. Thank you.
He's creating the outlets. You can also create it from
Oops. It's tedious. See if you can make that happen. Let me pause the same thing with the same thing. So we're gonna go again. Have your code up here. I'm gonna make some space. Make some space. Then I'm gonna grab another one, and I'm gonna hold the control key down and drag it in here. This time, instead of an outlet, you make it an action. Instead of changing it to any, you gotta be UI button. And then, what did they say to call it? Oh, where's my button tapped? Button tapped. Was it lowercase buttontapped? Button tapped. It's a UI button. It's an action. And you drag it in there. So the same thing we did before. It's going to be an action with a function, button tapped, underscore sender, UI button. Then you're going to do the same thing. You need to connect each one of them to this. So you're doing it twice. This one is for the letter button, whatever you want to call it, and this one's for the action. And so now you got to connect them all to that as well. If I can remember how to do that, was it Control, click, and drag? There. So it's blue. You got to do them all again. Do them all again. You can do it over here as well if you want. But again, make sure it goes to the button tapped. Do the whole thing over again. I know it's a lot of work. Same thing over again. Let me stop my video here. So again, I took each one of these and I put it to this action. So if you roll over the plus, you should see all of them lit up. See that? Roll over the plus, you should see them all lit up. See that? All lit up, all lit up. Does that make sense? All lit up, all lit up. All lit up, all lit up. Okay, and then they have some code. We can add that code next week. But let's talk about where I can fix that. If you made a mistake and you have extra buttons in there, the easiest place to select that, hold on. Is in the sidebar over here, this sidebar. See the sidebar, this sidebar over here? So if you click on your plus here, you'll see you get a big long list here. And then the ones that are highlighted, wait, there is a way. I'm doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. I want to go here, here.
I think the rightmost, right?
What's that?
The rightmost. The rightmost. No.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is, and the connection's here. Yeah, and then, but I thought you could get a list in here as well. I'm afraid to click on that. No. This list is not correct though. It shows other things in here.
I think yours is too many, right?
No, it's not too many. Don't think of it that way. There is it's showing you the entire thing. I don't think this is correct here. Because it looks like I have two O's here, right? Let's look at, yeah, but it's really not. One of them is the
outlet and the action.
yes, it's showing you both of them is what I'm trying to say. So usually you might see two for this. If you have two O's that are selected, one of them is bad, is what I'm trying to say. And so one of them's the outlet and one of them's the action, yeah, and they're not in order. That's the problem. One of them's outlet and so, but this is one way you can find it, is what I'm trying to say there. And the other way is over here as well. So I don't know, just try and do it correctly the first time. One way that I found is just to do it over. Delete it and do it over. So I don't know. Let me